Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to UFC's Best Bets. Today we're doing UFC Fight Night, Brandon Royval versus Taira, which is on October the 12th, 2024. We're going to be going through my best bets that I have for the entire card, giving you a breakdown on the prelims and the main event, and we're just going to get right into it. We're going to start with the best bet I have for this weekend, which is Cody Haddon. And the reason why I'm picking Cody Haddon is because Haddon has finished all 7 of his fights, and he's finished 5 fights inside amateur. He's 12-1 inside of his entire career, 7 fights being inside pro, and he's plus 215 to finish. And he's fighting against Dan Argueta, who arguably is looking worse than he did his first stint inside the UFC. And I think he doesn't deserve to be here. I think Dan Argueta is going to get outpaced. I think Cody Haddon is going to finish him inside 2 rounds. I don't think Dan Argueta is going to get to a 3rd round. I think Dan Argueta is going to have a very, very big problem on the ground, especially seeing as Cody Haddon's a very, very skilled black belt. He's very, very skilled in the boxing, very slick, and sitting at a minus 175, I don't see why you wouldn't pick Cody Haddon, especially when the under 2.5 rounds is plus 140. Even if Dan Argueta is going to win this fight, he's going to need to knock out Cody Haddon. I don't believe that he's going to be able to take 2 rounds from Cody. I think he can maybe take 1 near the end if Cody's gassing out, but I think 2 rounds is a little bit laughable. I think under 2.5 rounds is the best bet for sure, seeing as Dan Argueta usually finishes most of his fights. He's not really a decision guy. He tries not to anyway. He tries to force a finish if he's on the losing end, and if he's winning, he still tries to finish guys anyway. And Cody Haddon's, again, no decision wins, 1 decision loss, and the rest of his fights being by finish just compels me to bet him this week. I think he's definitely the best bet on the entire card. I probably will be only betting him and maybe a couple other picks, but at a plus 215 to win either by KO or submission, I think it's definitely your best bet this week alongside the under 2.5 rounds. Next, we're going to move on to Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha. I got Lucas Rocha money line, plus 170, man. Lucas Rocha, 17-1, 24 years of age. These guys from Brazil are getting in a lot of fights a lot earlier. He had a bit of a problem inside Contender Series and with a fight against Mateus da Silva inside LFA. He had his back taken inside both of the first rounds, inside both of those fights. And inside the second round, he was able to explode and force, what is it? I guess constant shooting. Davy Bittencourt inside Contender Series was shooting from far inside the first round whenever Lucas was able to get back up on his feet. Lucas was able to time it, place a perfect pitch perfect knee, and knock him out cold. And Mateus was sort of similar. He was shooting from far inside that second round. Lucas was able to get around it, was able to sprawl, and able to keep a wide base, get him away from him, land good power shots. And even inside the 3rd round, when Mateus got his back, it wasn't enough to win the round because Lucas was landing some devastating shots on the feet. And Clayton Carpenter, like, even against Edgar Chairez inside Contender Series, he got a black eye almost instantly inside that fight. He was getting pieced up on the feet pretty bad inside the first half. And Lucas Rocha isn't a guy I see gassing out, and Edgar Chairez is a guy that doesn't exactly have a great cardio gas tank. We've seen him gas out before, and I think Lucas Rocha is a better contender than Edgar Chairez and then Ronderos, who Clayton Carpenter just beat, who was 4-1 at the time of being in the UFC, which I do not agree with at all. Like, just because this guy has a good amateur bout, or I shouldn't say amateur bout, amateur record, excuse me. Like, I don't see why you would bring him to the UFC when he only has 4 wins inside WXC, which is fucking terrible, by the way. Warrior Wednesday is just awful. Yeah, I don't see a way Clayton Carpenter can really win. I think over 2.5 rounds is probably your best bet. It is sitting at a minus 135, but if you are on a little bit of a riskier side, plus 115 for the under 2.5 is nice, man. It's not actually that bad, seeing as Lucas Rocha has a lot of finishes inside of his career. I believe 60% of his wins or something is by knockout. And Clayton Carpenter, also a guy who has a lot of submissions, a lot of KOs. So both of these guys could really go to a war inside this first round, and I can see Lucas or Clayton getting a finish inside the second round. I just believe that Lucas is going to be able to knock out Clayton Carpenter, especially on the feet. I think he's just better, and I think when it goes to the ground, Lucas is not going to get his back taken inside this scenario. I think he's going to maybe have full guard, and inside that scenario, he's going to explode and get to his feet, and I think he's going to piece Carpenter up. At plus, what is he right now? Plus He was a plus 170 or a plus 170 earlier. He is a plus 145 now. But again, make sure to take a look at that, especially seeing as it's Thursday. All the lines are starting to fix themselves right now. Next on the best bets, what do we have here? Themba Gorimbo versus Nico Price. Sorry, I'm a little lost. We're in the wrong place in the notes. I'm taking Themba Gorimbo. It's a little bit chalky, minus 380. He's definitely going to beat the shit out of Nico Price. I just don't see how Nico Price is going to get around the fact that Themba Gorimbo seems like he's on a heater. He seems like every time he's in the octagon, he's getting better. Every single time I see him, he's like in a type of flow. And Themba Gorimbo is really, really good inside the clinch. He has an like top tier clinch game, and Nico Price has a big problem with that. And I think he's going to get dropped to the ground. And I think Themba Gorimbo is probably going to knock out Nico Price. I'm not betting on the knockout. I think Themba Gorimbo on the money line is a bit better. Sitting at a minus 280 right now, which is a little bit weird. I don't believe that's the right line. Let me check this real. No, minus 380. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know, man. It's a little bit funky, seeing as Themba Gorimbo, he's not really known for getting a lot of knockouts. He's more known for his ground game, you know, his submissions, his triangles and stuff. But I can see him knocking out Nico Price. He's a little bit chinny. Phil Rowe was able to knock him out with some nice clean punches. Jesus, that was a good stutter. Robbie Lawler was able to knock him out with like 3 or 4 hooks in the stand-up. I don't see why he couldn't get a knockout, but I think Themba Gorimbo probably over 1.5 rounds, over 2.5 rounds is probably your better bet if you don't want to touch either of these fighters. Or just skip it, you know, you don't know. Over 2.5 is sitting at a minus 110. It is definitely a little bit better. That's probably where I would lay my money if I was worried about the chalkiness of the minus 380. Again, I always say never bet the minus 300 and above, but in this scenario, it is what it is. Next on the best bets, we have JSP money line. He is fighting, who do we have here? Jonathan Pierce. JSP is fighting Pat Sabatini. Yeah. Pat Sabatini is purely a grappler. He always tries to set up his takedowns with the hands, tries to get you to the ground and submit you. He is only known for his submissions. As long as I've been watching him, he's never been known for his stand-up. And Jonathan Pierce is not a guy who's going to let you bully him. He's a guy who has fantastic takedown defense. He has fantastic reversals. JSP is able to explode out of bad positions consistently. He's 6 foot tall, very long frame. It makes it really hard to hold him down consistently. And JSP, man, he's on a 2-loss streak. Was beating up Jordan Brito before he got choked out. You know, he was even telling him, get up, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Get up. He got up, got a ninja choke, and choked him to shit. David Onama, really good fight. David Onama was just able to piece him up on the feet, was able to outbox him, was able to do him in the stand-up. I just think JSP in this scenario is going to outdo Pat Sabatini in the stand-up. I don't see this fight getting to the ground, maybe once or twice, but I think JSP is good enough to where he's not going to stay in that position with that long frame, long reach. He's going to be able to get out of the bad positions. Sitting at a, what is it? Minus 185. That's kind of insane a little bit for Jonathan Pierce, but again, if you like the chalkiness, you take it. And I definitely like it here, especially as a parlay piece. I think Pat Sabatini's, you know, he's been knocked out by fucking Damon Jackson. Diego Lopez I can understand, but Damon Jackson, man, oof. Getting that was a bad knockout too. And he like this really affects these guys, and he's coming back after 10 months after eating a bad knockout to Diego Lopez. JSP's got really nice hands, man. Don't be surprised if he doesn't or if he does knock him out, because I could really see it happening. What's the line for that? Let's see. What do we have here? Jonathan Pierce by KO plus 300. That's actually not bad. Under 2.5 plus 125. I mean, I like that. I don't know if I'm going to be betting a lot of money on it, but I don't mind it. What do we have here? Next on the best bets, we have Chidi Njokuani versus Jared Gooden. I'm going Chidi. I don't know how you don't pick Chidi here. Minus 170 for Chidi is a steal. He's going to knock out Jared Gooden inside 1.5 rounds, I believe. I'm taking the under. Under sitting at plus 135. And Njokuani by KO sitting at a plus 165. I mean, I like the knockout, man. I think knockout under 1.5 rounds is like plus 250 or something for Chidi Njokuani. And I think Jared Gooden's going to walk into some of the bang of Chidi, and Chidi has a lot of power, bro. He seriously has devastating power, especially at 170, man. He's one of the bigger guys. 6'3", 80-inch reach. Like, Jared Gooden's going to have a big problem here, and this is not going to be a ground game fight. This is going to be a stand-up war. Jared Gooden's going to need to waver through that first round. He's going to need to get through the heat of Chitty in order to win this fight, and I do not believe Jared has what it takes to get through that first round. I think he's going to get chinned. I think Jared Gooden's going to go night-night, and I think, they're going to be on notice, seeing as this is also his second stint in the UFC, and his best win right now is Wellington Turman. Oof. Like, Jared needs this fight to turn out his way, but I just see Chitty chinning him. I really don't see it. I mean, Chitty could get chinned as well. I mean, the under 1.5 sitting at a plus 135, very, very good money if you don't like Chitty, but Njokuani, I think, is just the better striker. I think he's more slick. Again, when he pressures guys, they kind of start to wilt away because they're against the cage and they can't really move anymore because Chitty is really good at cutting them off, and they get a little bit it seems like they get stressed and they start to swing, and that's when Chitty capitalizes. Yeah, I'm taking the side of Chitty, and we're gonna go to our main event of the evening. This is the only other bet I have for the main event other than Chitty. We have Brandon Royval versus Tatsuro Taira. Again, on the predictions and breakdowns, I did pick Tatsuro Taira to win this fight. I am betting Brandon Royval at a plus 235. That line is way too high, and I do believe it is moving as we speak. I will check it out right now. But Brandon Royval is very, very, very good. I thought he lost to Brandon Moreno, to be honest. I did not have him winning that fight. I thought he lost 3-2. No, was that a 3-round fight? Let's double check that as well. Hold on. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. Let's just check first off. Let's check the line. The line of Brandon Royval right now is sitting at a plus 235. Tatsuro Taira is sitting at a minus 300. Holy shit. That is a crazy line. Let's see. Brandon Royval. Let's go to UFC Fight Night. It was a main event. It was split. Okay. I thought Moreno won 3-2. 100%. Maybe even 4-1. But he loses the fight. Brandon Royval is moving closer to a title shot, which is fine, seeing as he just lost to Pantoshi. He's trying to work his way back up, knocking out Mateus Nicolau, getting a guillotine choke on Matt Schnell. The win over Kai Kara France aged well. The win over Tim Elliott aged a little bit poorly, seeing as Tim Elliott's kind of on his way out. He's getting a little bit older. He's having a bit of a problem with these younger guys. I mean, able to get a win over Sumidarji, is that his name? I think that's his name. Victor Altamirano, who just got cut by the UFC, by the way, which is interesting. Taira Ulanbekov, some decent wins. It's just Tim Elliott is getting to the point where he's going to start declining. He's at 37 years of age. You can already see it inside his cardio. He's still a dog. He's still a really good fighter, but Brandon Royval being able to beat him in 2020 is a big win. It does age shitty, but at the time, the Brandon Moreno win, I guess, is good. I don't think he won, but again, fighting Tatsuro Taira, who has not fought anyone. Like Carlos Hernandez, Jesus Aguilar, like CJ Vergara, like no one. These are nobodies. These are people who are having problems in the UFC now. Edgar Chairez, like fuck off. He took Edgar Chairez to a decision, man. That guy's a tank. I love Edgar Chairez. Alex Perez only lost that fight because of a really nasty takedown from Tatsuro Taira. Was able to get on the back of Alex Perez when he was standing up. Was able to hook his right leg behind the left calf of Alex Perez, forcing all of the weight on his right knee, exploding it basically. Tatsuro Taira was able to get that victory by TKO. And now he's fighting Brandon Royval, who I think is just a little bit more well-versed. I think Tatsuro Taira is a little bit one-sided. I think he just wants to take you down and maul you. And I think Brandon Royval is a guy who is dangerous when you're doing that because he's always really slick with submissions. He always gets things from really weird angles. Dude, he made Matt Schnell double tap. That's how bad it was. Brandon Royval, again, like always able to get out of bad situations, able to piece you up in the boxing. He's not afraid to strike. Tatsuro Taira has heavy hands, but again, knocking out Carlos Hernandez, like I don't give a shit about that. That doesn't really mean anything. He was able to capture him with a perfect punch and put his lights out. Anyone can do that. But if it does get to the ground, Taira does have a big advantage. I pray and I hope that when I put a little bit of money in Brandon Royval that he doesn't take it to the ground and he's able to keep it standing up and he's able to teach Tatsuro Taira a lesson in MMA. cut out there for a second. Let's move on to the parlay section real quick. We're going to start with the early prelim pickers. We're going to start with Lucas Rocha. Actually, you know what? Yeah, actually, we are going to do Lucas Rocha because plus 170, that's nice money. We're going to do a small parlay. Lucas Rocha, Cody Haddon, and we're going to take the side of Junior Tafa versus Sean Sharaf. And it brings you out to a plus 454. And that's really not that bad. I truly believe Junior Tafa is going to be able to roll through Sean Sharaf. I think he's just a big brawler, and Junior Tafa is a little bit better. Again, this is a guy that got into the UFC. Sean Sharaf is getting his debut because Chris Barnett could not make it due to Hurricane Milton and Helene. I see Tafa winning easy. I see Haddon winning easy. I believe the only risky thing on the bet is Rocha, but I believe Lucas Rocha is going to be able to figure out Clayton Carpenter early, be able to pick up an early round, and be able to have a round to work with. The plus 3.5 for Lucas, again, minus 140 if you're looking at that side as well. I would take the plus 170 line just because, dude, like it's too much love on the side of Clayton Carpenter, to be 100% honest. We're going to move on a little bit down. We're going to take Cody Haddon, who is my lock. We're going to take Cody Haddon up. We're going to take Julia Pelostri against Corey McKenna. And we're going to take Themba Garimbo. Again, chalky, very chalky. But brings you to a plus 251. If you're just trying to triple up your money, the three chalky favorites, it's not too bad. Again, if you're betting 2 or 3 fighters, though, plus 200 is a little bit insane. If you want to make it a little bit better, you could switch it up with Themba Garimbo going over 2.5 rounds. You could switch it up with Cody Haddon going under 2.5 rounds. If you want to make it plus money, that would bring it up to a plus 694. But if you just bring Cody Haddon, Julia Pelostri, and Themba Garimbo over 2.5 rounds, well, the fight, Themba Garimbo versus Nico Price, you see plus 400, which isn't too bad. We're going to move on to the next pick here. We got Jonathan Pierce versus Pat Sabatini, taking Jonathan Pierce, obviously, at the money line. CJ Figueroa, we're skipping this fight this week. CJ Figueroa versus Ramazan, what is it? Ramazanbek Temirov. Jesus Christ, these names are insane, bro. It's really risky. I think CJ Figueroa can get something done. I think he can win a round or two. It's just, I don't know where Temirov stands with the finishing power. He seems a little bit tentative sometimes. We're going to take Jonathan Pierce. We're going to take Abdul Razak Al Hassan, and we're going to take Daniel Rodriguez going into the main event. And that gives you a plus 263. If you want to make a little bit bigger parlay, you guys want to be a little bit riskier, I would take Cody Haddon. I would take Julia Pelostri. I would take Themba Garimbo. I would take Abdul Razak Al Hassan, and I would take Daniel Rodriguez. That gives you a 5-pick parlay at plus 720. These parlays this week are a little bit rough. Plus 720 for a 5-pick is also rough here. Let's see if we can cook something up real quick. All right, you know what? We're going to tackle some over-unders right now here. This is actually a good bet. We got a 3-pick parlay here. So we have Clayton Carpenter versus Lucas Rocha, not to go the distance, sitting at a plus 145. We have Themba Garimbo versus Nico Price, over 2.5 rounds, sitting at a minus 120. And we have Daniel Argueta versus Cody Haddon, under 2.5 rounds, sitting at a plus 145. Brings your 3-pick parlay to plus 739 before the prelims. It's not, or excuse me, before the main card. It's not actually, that's a fantastic bet, to be completely honest. I think that's one of the better bets you can make tonight. Or excuse me, for Saturday night. It's a lot better than everything I've been trying to cook up here. Let's move on to the main event, though. I think we can get something really done here. We have Chidi Njokuani. I'm going knockout, obviously. Plus 165. Really love the prop here. If you want to take the money line to make it a little bit safer, you can. I just truly believe Chidi is going to be able to get it done. You know what? Maybe we'll be on the safer side. Let's just see in a second. We have Chidi by KO. We have Daniel Rodriguez to defeat Alex Morono. We have, oh my God, we have Jung Young Park, who's going to defeat Brad Tavares, who I think is trash. Let's see. Let's put in. Let's take Brandon Royval versus Tatsuro Taira. We're going to take this fight to not go the distance. That's sitting at plus 845. I believe these guys are going to be able to finish each other. Pause. Taira has devastating stuff on the ground, very good submissions. Brandon Royval is very slick in every aspect of MMA. I think Taira is a little bit more one-dimensional when it comes to MMA. He's a little bit better in the grappling than he is in the stand-up. This brings your parlay out to plus 845, though. I really think that's a lot better than you're going to get for anything else this week. For a 4-pick parlay, it's pretty good. With a prop, it's a little bit risky. If you take Chitty by KO out and you just bring the line in, it brings it up to plus 466, which is kind of bad, but you know, we move on. If you guys are betting the entire segment of best bets, it would be Lucas Rocha money line at a plus 170. It would be under 2.5 rounds Daniel Algueta versus Cody Haddon at a plus 145. It would be Themba Grimbo at a minus 380. Again, chalky, but we're taking it. Jonathan Pierce, JSP, minus 180. We also have Chidi Njokuani, minus 170 money line. We also have Fight Not to Go the Distance, Brandon Royval, Taira. This brings your parlay up to plus 3,254. If you're betting $10, it would get you 335. I'm just saying, if it hits, I'm just saying, if you put $1 on it, it's $30. What are you gonna do with $1 this weekend? What are you doing with 50 cents this weekend? 50 cents, $16? You want $16? You want to go to the store get some candy? Shit. What are you saying? No, don't be dumb with your money. Bet at your own despair. Do not bet more than you can afford, guys. That's all I got for you this week. I know it was a little bit all over the place, but just wanted to get you a lot of variety in the bets, seeing as this week is tough. But I really believe that Cody Haddon's going to come out on top, and I think my second best bet this week is JSP. I think JSP is going to come out on top, and Pat Sabatini. I know I'm picking two chalky locks, but I don't care. Under 2.5 rounds is your lock of the week for Cody Haddon and Daniel Argueta, and the lock of the week himself, Cody Haddon, is there. That's all I got for you guys this week. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.